Unfortunately, the aircraft was hit a number of times yesterday, and so those flights have been suspended. The needs are humongous. There are a lot of international agencies now, the International Committee of Red Cross, our colleague sister agencies, the United Nations Commission for Refugees, the World Food Programme. We really are mobilizing together to try and get at least a minimum assistance package for Rwanda.
Why, for example, let's get specific, why is there a need to bring bottled water into this country? The water supply, I take it, is contaminated inside Rwanda?
Yeah, we're not actually bringing in bottled water. The water situation in the city has been cut. The main lines have been cut because of the fighting, we think. Secondly, the small streams and the domestic wells that people use, they have been contaminated just by the sheer number of corpses that are around. What UNICEF is actually doing is we've taken a lot of water purification equipment in and chlorine, and the attempt is to try and clean some water sources to make clean water available. We are not at this stage bringing in water by air or any other means.
I see. And what specifically are you bringing in by way of food?
Well, at the moment, UNICEF's responsibility is for children. What we're bringing in is what we call supplementary food. It's a high-protein mix. It's called BP5. It's a special enriched food which we can give to mothers and children. And because it's so fortified, it can actually compensate for the lack of normal food.
How much money do you need for this? Are you already budgeted for it, or will you have to go to the member nations to get some more money?
Yeah, UNICEF, part of the office that I work in, has already borrowed $2 million to start actions rolling, getting the planes in, getting the supplies in, purchasing the food and the water equipment. In addition, as you may know, we asked the international community last week for $5 million to continue our current program for 6 weeks. We are at the moment trying to estimate what our needs would be for the next 6 months. But at the moment, we need $5 million urgently just to continue the work that we're doing already.
You make that sound like a lot of money, $5 million, but considering, as you say, there are between 1 and 2 million now refugees and probably more, that doesn't seem like a lot of money.
No, I think that it's not a lot of money. Obviously, the overall needs are going to be much higher, but as always in these operations, we have to take immediate actions in terms of priorities. And what we need now is to make sure that we get some medical supplies and some supplementary food in. And so we are trying to be as modest and as cost efficient and effective as possible, and realizing, of course, that there are huge demands on the world's emergency budgets at this stage because of just the sheer number of emergencies that are happening globally.
You went in, I believe, with a so-called, did you not, rapid deployment team. I believe you referred to it as sort of advanced humanitarian team. Is the UN set up for this kind of mission, or do you recommend some other kind of organization?
No, this was an advanced humanitarian team. As you know, over the years, there's always been some criticism that the world doesn't act quick enough in these situations. I think that's what's happened in Kigali, where a group of UN agencies hit the ground running with supplies in very much the very early days, and amidst the very, very severe fighting on the ground. I think it does show that the United Nations humanitarian agencies, and I must say under the leadership of the Department of Humanitarian Affairs at the UN, has shown that we can coordinate, we can act rapidly, and we can be very effective very quickly.
Just your final thoughts. We've got about 30 seconds left, Mr. McDermott. How much hope is there?
Well, we have to have hope, and we have to hope in the goodness of people, and I just pray to God that whatever happens, that the world will at least save the next generation of Rwandese children.
Thanks very much, Peter McDermott with the United Nations.
That was Sandy Gilmore reporting. All right, let's check today's weather in a city near you, and while we do, we'll take you to Moscow as modern-day Russian cavaliers clashed swords Saturday in remembrance of the Allied victory over Germany in World War II.
This week on Today, Dan Quayle and Spike Lee.
Also Joan Rivers, Mel Gibson, and David Copperfield. So join us this week.
And see what a difference today makes.
If you enjoy working with wood, you know how satisfying it can be to see a project come together. And you also know it can take years to learn the secrets and techniques of master woodworkers. Until now. Because now you can get a lifetime of woodworking wisdom all in one convenient reference. The Art of Woodworking from Time Life Books. More than plans and pretty pictures, The Art of Woodworking brings you practical how-to advice from the world's finest woodworkers to get you through the tough spots of any project and get you results you'll be proud of every time. Start off with cabinet making, now specially priced at just $9.99, and learn professional tips for creating cabinets that are built to last. Then go on to discover a safe, foolproof method for making beautiful hand-cut dovetail joints. And find out how to build dozens of time and money-saving jigs like this one that makes it easy to cross-cut long, wide, or heavy workpieces on your table saw.
Call this toll-free number now to order cabinet making for just $9.99. Use your credit card and you'll also receive this free bonus video, Shop Secrets from Master Craftsman. In this exclusive video, 4 expert woodworkers show you their tips and secrets for perfect wood joinery, planing, and preparing stock with jigs you can make yourself. Future woodworking volumes will arrive once about every month at the regular price of $19.99. Keep only those you want. Cancel anytime. Keep the free video no matter what.
Every volume features step-by-step illustrations, plus a convenient spiral binding that lets the books lie flat while you work. From how to select the right stock to how to get the most from your woodworking tools, The Art of Woodworking gives you the confidence to tackle any project and the how-to advice to complete it with results you'll be proud of. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-449-1200 to order cabinet making, now specially priced at just $9.99. Use your credit card and get a bonus video, Shop Secrets from Master Craftsman, absolutely free. Call now, 1-800-449-1200. That's 1-800-449-1200.
Well, we had the Kentucky Derby Saturday, and a bit of advice: never bet on the favorite, and always go with a horse with liquor in its name.
Go for gin, right. Actually, the weather is much of a story as anything in this race, and this horse actually has a history of running well in sloppy and muddy conditions, Tom. The Churchill Downs track was listed as sloppy Saturday, so it was only fitting that a mudder would win the Run for the Roses. Track announcer Davy Johnson picks up the stretch call.
Now they're in the stretch. Go for Jim, who's led from the start, has the lead. He's drawing off by 2 with McCarran. On the inside, Bronco is second. Here comes Strode's Creek in the middle of the racetrack, and down the stretch they come. It's Go for Jim, digging in and holding on. He is going to win the Kentucky Derby. Wire to wire, he's eased under the wire.
Go for Gin wins the Kentucky Derby with Strode's Creek second and Bloomin' Affair third. Pre-race favorite Holy Bull came in 12th. On to the NBA playoffs, where the Denver Nuggets quite possibly pulled off the biggest upset in playoff history Saturday, ousting powerful Seattle. Denver guard Robert Pack just one of the storylines in Game 5. Pack took a nasty spill during the third quarter, and it looked like his afternoon was over. However, Pack stayed in the fray and led the Nuggets with 23 points. Denver up by 8 with 6 minutes to go. Late fourth quarter, Sonics down by 2, the clock running out. Gary Payton, an air ball. Kendall Gill on the follow, and we go to overtime tied at 88. In OT, LaFonso Ellis hits the three-point play in traffic, putting the Nuggets up for good. And the clock then ran out on the Sonics and their tremendous season. Denver eliminates Seattle 98-94, the first time in playoff history that an 8th seed has knocked off the top seed. And history could repeat itself later today on NBC as 8th-seeded Miami meets top-seeded Atlanta in Game 5 of their Eastern Conference opener. Elsewhere, the Chicago Bulls and New York Knicks will open their second-round series. The Bulls have eliminated the Knicks 4 of the last 5 times they've met in the postseason.
Hold each player on the Bulls below their regular season efficiency or their regular season field goal percentage, then we have a great chance of winning.
They're not going to beat us with their first shot. We're certainly not going to beat them with our first shot. It's who offensive rebounds, who controls the lane is going to win the series.
On to the Stanley Cup playoff picture next, where home ice advantage is proving to be no advantage at all in the New Jersey Devils-Boston Bruins series. Jacques Lemaire and his Devils were hoping to even the series Saturday, Game 4 at Boston. The game went into overtime. Then 14 minutes in, Stéphane Richer breaks into the clear, dekes John Casey right out of his suspenders, And the Devils win Game 4 at Boston 5-4 in overtime. The series heads back to Jersey tied at 2 games apiece. The one other Stanley Cup game saw Washington stave off elimination against the Rangers 4-2 the final. That series heading back to Madison Square Zoo in New York with the Rangers still in command 3-1.
Holy cow, Kurt, what happened to Holy Bull?
Holy Bull just never got going on Saturday.
15th consecutive favorite not to win the Kentucky Derby.
Impressive.
Okay, thanks, Kurt. We'll be back in a minute.
Would you like a better night's sleep? Then put your head on a Wonder Bed. Call right now and Wonder Bed will mail you a free video and brochure without any obligation. No salesman will ever come to your home. Wonder Bed gives you comfort and support in hundreds of positions, all at the touch of a finger. Ask your doctor about the benefits of an adjustable bed, especially if you have back and neck aches, hiatal hernia, breathing and circulation problems. So call Wonder Bed right now at the number shown for your free video and brochure.
And I couldn't get rid of the itch, especially between my toes. It's the hardest place to get to.
Olga Bank is telling us about Triple Action Gold Bond Medicated Powder.
When you put on the Gold Bond, it really does take care of the itch, and then it just feels really comfortable.
Gold Bond's Triple Action is the absorbing action of powder, the medicating action of a proven itch fighter, and the drying action of zinc oxide.
You use Gold Bond. It really works. I really do like it, and it does work.
Try Triple Action Gold Bond Medicated Powder.
Do you know me? You may not recognize me without my hair. I'm Cy Sperling, Hair Club's first client. And since 1968, I've helped thousands of men with thinning hair. If you have thinning hair, this booklet is something you should have. It covers transplants, weaving, fusion, minoxidil, and proper hair care. So call our toll-free number now to get your free booklet. You saw the difference it made for me, and look what it did for our clients. So call our toll-free number now to get your free booklet.
Don't wait for a dental emergency to happen. Get DenTemp today and be prepared. Caps and crowns can loosen unexpectedly and cause embarrassment. Fillings can fall out and cause pain and discomfort. DenTemp was developed by a dentist to temporarily replace loose caps and lost fillings until you can see your dentist. DenTemp helps you avoid unnecessary pain, helps eliminate embarrassment. Don't suffer needlessly. Get DenTemp today. Call now for more information and money-saving coupons.
Still racking your brains trying to figure out something to get Mom for Mother's Day? Well, Sheriff Sherman Block of Los Angeles says, how about giving her peace of mind by turning in your weapons? Block says he's seen the terrible impact that street violence has on families. Angelinos can turn in their firearms at any sheriff's station, no questions asked. If that's a little too radical for you, and you want to keep the guns, you can go with the traditional flowers. It seems everybody else has. Chris McCann, who works at 1-800-Flowers, one of the largest floral delivery services in the country, says they took 250,000 calls Friday and that they'll deliver about 750,000 orders today. He says flowers are a way for children to show their moms they care. And of course, it's also great for his business. And today is going to be a special Mother's Day for one Arizona woman. Marguerite Powell made her first parachute jump at the age of 80. She took a tandem plunge with an instructor who was there to pull the ripcord. Very important function. Powell enjoyed the jump, saying she was not worried and had a wonderful view. And finally, it was a terrific pre-Mother's Day at the Zoo Atlanta. A drill baboon, one of the most endangered primate species in the world, was born Saturday. It is the second child for 7-year-old drill baboon Inga. The father, named Adonis, is also 7. We're not sure how old that is in human years. Drill baboons live in the rainforest in Africa, and these two are among 23 living in 4 zoos in this country. We certainly hope you go ape on Mother's Day, but don't go overboard, please. That does it for this hour of Nightside. Thank you for joining us. For those stations staying tuned, we'll have a check on the stories making headlines coming up next.
This is a News Channel 4 update.
Good morning, I'm Stacey Stewart. Topping the news at this 5 o'clock hour, in Austin, Texas, the religious right is celebrating a victory. The group campaigned to repeal a current policy that extends health insurance benefits to unmarried partners of city employees. That did include homosexuals, but at this hour, 61% of the voters said that the policy should be revoked. And in Beijing, China, it's taken its place among the world beer-drinking countries. China produced 12 million tons of beer last year.
I know, you've looked all over town, but you can't seem to find just that right used car, truck, or van. Well, look no further and buy with confidence at the Bob Moore Supercenter. I promise you, we've got acres of quality used vehicles and in all price ranges, too. In fact, too many to show you on TV, so just look for the American flag and the classifieds of the Daily Oklahoman for our used car specials. And remember, if you've got a job, you've got credit, where else but at the Bob Moore Supercenter?
Super Thrift's annual beef shootout sale means you'll get the right price on the freshest USDA beef selections you'll find anywhere. Like Super True boneless ribeye steaks, value pack priced right at just $3.97 a pound. Save more at Super Thrift on Shasta Pop, 6 cans for 89 cents. Get El Chorito Mexican-style dinners only $1.28. It's all during Super Thrift's annual beef shootout sale. Isn't Mother's Day wonderful?
It's all right here, Super Thrift.
Coming up Monday on First at 4:30.
Each year, accidents leave 8,000 children dead, another 50,000 permanently disabled. No one ever wants to see their child end up here in a hospital emergency room, but accidents do happen. Find out how to prevent them and what to do if you ever need to save a child's life. We'll also tell you how to get a hold of this How to Save a Child's Life memo board for your home.
That's Monday at 4:30 on News Channel 4, where the news comes first, 24 hours a day. KFOR-TV, once again named Television Station of the Year.
Good morning. Welcome to NBC Nightside. I'm Tom Miller. President Clinton is changing his policy on Haiti, but how will it affect the Haitian people? We'll look at that story in a moment. For some cities, gambling appears to be the answer to their financial problems, but critics say state-sponsored gambling is morally bankrupt. And later in the hour, more thoughts on the horrible slaughter in Rwanda from a UNICEF worker who was there. But first, the latest on U.S. Haiti policy. President Clinton has changed his stand on the handling of Haitian refugees. After 2 hours of meetings between Clinton and foreign policy aides, White House officials said Haitians fleeing their country would no longer be returned without a chance to plead for asylum. Hearings will be held on American ships or in other countries. The policy change comes just one day after the UN Security Council voted to increase sanctions on the Caribbean island nation. But will these changes make a difference in Haiti? We have a report from NBC's David Bloom in Port-au-Prince, the capital.
Mention the name of this prison to any Haitian, and it will send a chill down his spine. Fort Dimanche was a torture chamber, and today its reputation is being revived. Human rights monitors allege that this crumbling prison has become a clandestine detention center at a time when political opponents of the Haitian military are being tortured and killed.
One by one, the opponents to the regime are being taken out.
Over the last several days, human rights monitors say 7 people have been found shot or hacked to death in Port-au-Prince, all of them believed to be supporters of exiled President Jean-Bertrand Aristide.
The military probably feels so self-confident and so smug these days that they can act with total impunity.
But it raises the question, why would the Haitian military feel confident and smug when the United Nations is only 2 weeks away from imposing a near total trade embargo, and with President Clinton going so far as to threaten military intervention? Because, analysts here say, such threats have proved meaningless before.
If you're threatened with the sky falling on your head, 5 times, I mean, the 6th time you hear it, you say, yeah, I know it's coming, but hey, I'll deal with it when it comes down.
And so, on the streets of Port-au-Prince, there is fear and resignation, and the belief that only the poor will pay the price if tighter trade sanctions are imposed.
The embargo killed many people, you understand? Because they don't have no place to stay, they don't have no food.
A top-ranking United Nations official who has come to believe that short of an invasion, nothing will change, tells the following story. A high-ranking Haitian military officer pointed to a malnourished child and told the UN official, "See that kid? He's starving, and your sanctions might kill him, but they will never hurt me." David Bloom, NBC News, Port-au-Prince.
Haiti will be the primary topic on NBC's Meet the Press later this morning. Among the guests, Haitian military leader Raul Cedras and Randall Robinson of the lobbying group Trans-Africa, who opposes Clinton's Haitian policy. On the Arabian Peninsula, the civil war in Yemen is now entering its 5th day. Forces from the north advance on the southern stronghold of Aden. Fighting is centered east of the city that was once the capital of South Yemen. The North and South had been separate countries until they united 4 years ago. Saturday, hundreds of Americans and other Westerners fled the country aboard a French warship. They crossed the Red Sea to Djibouti. Others flew to Saudi Arabia. The U.S. is urging all Americans to leave Yemen as soon as possible. In Central Africa, heavy fighting continues to tear apart Rwanda's capital city. Rebel troops have gained ground on government forces defending Kigali. A ceasefire was to go into effect this morning, but rebel leaders say they won't respect it. Many children have been maimed and orphaned by the fighting and can be seen roaming around villages. Violence erupted between majority Hutu and minority Tutsi tribes after the Rwandan president died in a plane crash. Later in the hour, we'll have more on Rwanda from a UNICEF worker who just returned from there. It was a momentous occasion in the new South Africa Saturday. Winners of the country's first all-race elections were sworn into office. In one province, the oath of office was delivered in 6 different languages. The new National Assembly will convene on Monday and is expected to elect Nelson Mandela as South Africa's first black president. A new era in Middle East politics is unfolding. 330 Palestinian police officers arrived in the Gaza Strip this morning, accompanied by the first officially sanctioned weapons shipment. About 9,000 Palestinian police officers will provide security in Gaza and the West Bank town of Jericho while Israeli troops withdraw. It's the first step in a deal between Palestinians and Israelis on self-rule. In the U.S., the fight over a national health care program is taking shape in Congress. The White House hopes Congress will pass a plan that provides universal coverage for every American. But as NBC's Tom Pettit reports, members of Congress probably aren't going along.
Vice President and Mrs. Gore were promoting mental health care for children in Washington.
In health reform, now is the time to include coverage for mental health and substance abuse disorders, particularly for kids and families.
This is part of the administration's program of overall health care reform, which has hit a snag in Congress. In his radio address, Clinton played on a Mother's Day theme.
The right thing is to make sure that by next Mother's Day, we never have to worry about the health of our mothers being cared for.
I believe that before Congress goes home this year, President Clinton's going to sign a bill that guarantees private health insurance coverage to every American.
But in Congress, health care reform legislation is tied up in 5 committees and 11 subcommittees, and heavy horse trading lies ahead.
I don't think anybody can say that there's a consensus plan, and I really believe that's what we need.
I think that people in many ways are going back to the drawing board to try to put some of the pieces together to try to find a simpler health care plan than the one that Clinton has proposed.
No single health plan has drawn concerted support from constituents who have grown increasingly distrustful of government. Pollsters are finding public support for the Clintons' program is slipping, while more than half the people want Congress to think about it until next year. So what will Congress do?
I've talked to the President, I've talked to the White House staff, I've talked to Secretary Shalala, and they're all quite determined that the President will not sign any bill which does not provide for universal coverage.
Dole is dubious.
And then I give him credit for trying. It's just too big, and it's too bureaucratic, and it's too costly, and it's not going to pass.
Actually, some people here at the White House will be surprised if health care reform legislation is fully completed this year. Tom Pettit, NBC News, at the White House.
President Gerald Ford harshly criticized President Clinton's national health care plan. On Saturday, he told guests at a California business conference that Clinton's plan would cause the deficit to further balloon and create what he called a dictatorship that would decide insurance rates. She was switched at birth, but now Kimberly Mays is back with her natural parents. The Florida teenager has moved in with Ernest and Regina Twigg, the couple she took to court for the right to stay with the family who raised her. An attorney for the Twiggs say they now have full-time custody of Kimberly. He says an arrangement has been worked out by which Robert Mays, the father who raised Kimberly since birth, will share legal custody with the Twiggs. Thousands of Americans are looking for a place to call home, and the nation's homeless problem has forced many large cities to take different measures. In New York, a plan to help them get back on their feet is coming under fire. Chuck Gomez has the details.
In the shadow of City Hall, they came to protest a mayor's policy.
Don't put us out on the street. All we asking for is a place to lay our heads, something that we can call home.
It was billed as a homeless delegates convention, Dozens of homeless men, women, and children raising voices in concern. They gathered to blast the Giuliani administration's announcement the city would deny shelter to homeless families refusing to participate in treatment and training programs. Sherry Woodruff lives in a shelter in the Bronx with her 3 children. The mayor's saying that families should go through treatment programs if they want the shelter. What do you think about that?
I don't think that's right. It's
Why?
wrong. Because, I mean, there's a lot of people out there that's trying to do the right thing and want to do the right thing for their families. You know what I'm saying? All we want is a roof over our head just so we can start our life.
Every person here today is either in a program or working. They've already completed their half of the bargain. The question for Rudy is, where is his half of that responsibility, and when is he going to get serious about building some housing and getting people off the street in the long run?
Under the mayor's plan affecting families, heads of households would be required to sign agreements to participate in drug treatment or special training programs. If they refuse, they could be considered ineligible for shelter. In addition, the mayor says the city plans to require homeless single adults who refuse to participate in treatment programs rent for what he calls semi-private accommodation. The mayor's new proposal has already put the city at odds with the state, the courts, and homeless advocates. And the state's Commissioner of Social Services has already gone on record saying he believes there must be a last resort shelter for the homeless who refuse to participate in treatment programs.
That was Chuck Gomez reporting from New York. The famous painting entitled The Scream has been recovered undamaged 3 months after it was stolen. The priceless painting by Norwegian Edvard Munch depicts the world's pain and suffering. It was stolen from Norway's National Gallery in Oslo. 3 people have been charged in the robbery. Experts say it would have been impossible to sell the painting on the open market. Still ahead here on Nightside, gambling can mean big business for some cities. We'll take you to Detroit, which is economically stricken, and show you what they're doing about gambling there. Then later, we'll have the latest on the horrible situation in Rwanda.
If you're between 45 and 75, listen to this important message about guaranteed life insurance you can get for less than $1 a day.
Patty said Dad's funeral cost over $5,000?
It was even more than that with all the other expenses.
It's good Dad had that extra life insurance from the Mutual of Omaha companies.
I don't know what I would have done.
You know, that's why Tom and I bought those guaranteed life policies. I thought